Assalamu alaikum. Today we'll discuss Precis writing. Precis writing is an important component of our academic and professional life. In today's speedy world, no one has time to read our lengthy content. That's why precise writing is given a great value. So let's see what Precis writing is and what are the do's and don'ts of Precis writing. Okay. Literally, the word Precis means cut down or trim. A précis is a clear, compact, logical summary of a paragraph or paragraphs. It means that you can be given one paragraph or sometimes more than one paragraphs to write down the précis. It preserves only the essential or important ideas. Another important point is that précis preserves only important and the essential ideas of the original text. Above all, it should be easily understood by the reader without referring to the original passage. Your reader should be able to understand the précis and the message out of it. If the reader has to consult the original passage in order to get the better understanding, it means that you are failed at writing a good précis. Shortly, precise writing means bringing out the gist of a given passage in a few number of words not exceeding 1/3 of the original passage. So the précis is of 1/3 of the original passage. Uses of précis writing. Précis writing is important because it increases skills in reading and precision and economy of expression. Number two, summarizing is an excellent training in concentration of attention, as you can easily test the value of your reading. If you are a good reader and after reading certain content you are asked to summarize that content, you will be able to summarize that information in an appropriate way by keeping all the important stuff. But if you are not a good reader, if you lack concentration and focus, it means that you will be unable to recall the information which you read. So if you are reading something with this mindset that in the end you have to summarize the information, it will give you more practice to be more focused towards the written material. While writing a précis, you act as a bridge between the writer of a text and an imaginary reader who does not have sufficient time to read the whole text. Yes, you act as a bridge, you, the one who is writing the précis. There is an imaginary reader who does not have this much time to read the lengthy content, and you are concising the information for that imaginary reader. So that's why you are acting as a bridge between the lengthy information, the original text, and the imaginary reader. And you have to take this responsibility to give an appropriate piece of information, an appropriate summary to the imaginary reader so that the reader might understand it properly. Next, practice in précis writing is of great value in academic and practical life. As I already told you that précis writing is of great importance in both academic and practical life. However, it needs practice. Like all the other skills, précis cannot be learned over the night. You need a lot of practice in order to write a good piece of writing in a precise way. Précis writing is a very good exercise in writing a composition. So précis writing will make you a very good writer because precise writing is given great worth and value throughout the world and in every aspect of life. So let's move towards the next point. What does the examiner wants from you in terms of précis writing? What should you do in order to catch the attention, in order to get good grades from the examiner? So the examiner wants from you, number one, clarity. Number two, um, yes, the next point is correctness. Then objectivity, coherence, completeness. and conciseness. So these are all the important characteristic of a Precis which an examiner wants from you. Okay, let's discuss all these characteristics in detail. Number one, clarity. So let's see what's there in clarity. The examiner wants from you clear and understandable information. It means that there should be no ambiguity in the Precis and it should be easily understandable by the reader. You are supposed to use simple language and simple structure. Don't go towards complicated vocabulary and the complex words. Just be simple in your approach. If your Precis is not understandable to the reader, it will lose its importance and meanings for the reader. Yes, no matter how much concise the information is, if it is confusing, if it is ambiguous, it means that it's not understandable to the reader and it means you failed at writing a good Precis. Next, correctness. The next characteristic which the examiner wants from you is correctness. Structure of sentences and spellings of words must be correct because a single mistake in structure and spelling may spoil the message. We may consider the mistake under the following heading. So the mistakes can be in terms of misspelled words, in terms of punctuation, in terms of figures and wrong data, and mistakes in terms of grammar and structure. You are supposed to avoid all such type of mistakes in your Precis. Let's move towards the next characteristic, and that is objectivity. Objectivity means the ability to present or view facts uncolored by feelings, opinions and personal bias. We should not give and add our personal opinion and ideas in a Precis. A Precis should be purely a summary of the original text without any addition. It means that you are not allowed to add your point of view, your criticism, your appreciation, your likeness, your dislikeness, nothing like that. You are supposed to be very objective and unbiased in your approach, and you are supposed to give a neutral piece of writing in form of Precis. Coherence. Coherence means the logical and clear interconnection of ideas in a written piece of work. The ideas which are presented in a Precis must have a logical connection. They all should be interrelated and well knitted so that the writer may not be confused and lose his interest. The ideas should retain the order of original passage. So how can you get coherence? If the ideas are interconnected with each other and you are not jumping from one idea to another idea, and preferably the ideas and the order of information should be the same as that was in the original passage. Completeness. The next thing which your teacher wants from you is that the writer should include all the important facts in a Precis. To make it short, one should not omit the important points. You should not think that I just want to be short and that's why I should omit the important ideas. No, you are supposed to give all the important ideas in a concise way. This mistake on the part of the reader will spoil the importance and meaning of the Precis if all the important information is not given. Conciseness. The next thing which the teacher or examiner wants from you is conciseness. Conciseness means to say all that needs to be said and no more. The writer should write what is necessary and avoid writing unnecessary details. So you are supposed to write all that what is unnecessary and you are supposed to focus on all that what is necessary. A concise piece of work conveys the message in the fewest possible words. Right? To achieve conciseness, notice the following suggestions. So there are certain suggestions which you need to follow in order to achieve conciseness in your writing. Okay, you need to omit all the unnecessary detail, unnecessary, irrelevant detail. Include all that what is relevant and important. Eliminate all the wordy expressions, for example, prepositional phrases, redundancies, and avoid unnecessary repetition. So these are the issues which you are supposed to consider in order to achieve conciseness in your writing. So the examiner wants from you clarity, correctness, objectivity, coherence, completeness, and conciseness. Rules of making a précis. A serviceable substitute for the original work. Preserve the core essence of the work in a manner that is both clear and concise. Follow the below given rules to make it an effective piece of writing. So let's look at the rule to write a good précis. Okay, there are certain rules which you are supposed to follow before writing the précis, and the rules are: read carefully, find main subject, recognize tone, underlining, word counting, outline, omission, don't omit, and size. While writing the précis, you are supposed to follow certain rules which are: number one, indirect speech, tense and person, own words, coherence, précis of a dialogue, objective approach, one paragraph, rough draft, readable, final draft, and title. Let's see the detail of all these components. Pre-writing. The first thing which you are supposed to do is to read carefully. First, read the passage twice or thrice carefully to summarize it. It all depends upon your reading capability. If you are a good reader, then few readings might be sufficient. But if you are unable to understand the passage properly, maybe with 2 or 3 readings, it means that you need more reading. So just keep reading unless you get the complete understanding. Employ concentration and alertness. Okay, completely focus upon the given material and read it with active mind. Sensitivity to word meanings and author's viewpoint. Particularly in English language context, one word may convey different meaning. For that, you need to consider the context while understanding the meaning of any word. And author's viewpoint, you should be very sensitive towards author's opinion. What does the author want to say in that passage? And while reading, you need to consider all these points. Find main subject. Another important thing which you need to do is to find out the main subject and what about that main subject. Observe the emphasis and approach used by the author. So how can you understand what is the main idea of the given text? For that, you need to understand that which points have been emphasized by the author. This will help you to figure out the main idea of the text. Assume the importance of the idea that the author develops with the use of supporting facts and examples. So you can understand the main idea through the supporting facts and example which have been given by the author. It's very important for you to understand the main idea, but because this will help you to write down the important points and ultimately it will lead towards writing a good précis. Recognizing tone. Begin to recognize the author's tone and viewpoint. This is another very important thing, that you need to understand the tone in which the author has expressed the point of view. Whether the tone is ironic, whether it's serious, whether it's humorous, whatever the tone is, you are supposed to understand the tone. Next, underlining. Once you have read the information carefully, you have found the main subject, you have recognized the tone. Now this is the stage that you need to underline and mark the important ideas and essential points from the original text. Now whatever you feel that this is now the important idea, this is the important information, this is the relevant information to the main idea, now you need to underline that information. Word counting. One more important thing is to count the words in the given passage. For that purpose, you can count each and every word, or you take an approximate idea by counting the lines and to multiply them with the average number of words in one line. So if you have a lot of time, you can count each and every word in the given text. But if you have shortage of time, you can count the number of words in the one line and you can multiply those number of words with total number of line. After that, you can divide the total number of words with a number 3. It will give you a rough idea of 1/3. For example, if total number of words are 66, you will divide them with 3. So you will roughly get the idea that your précis should be of 22 words. That will give you a fairly good approximate word count. Outline. After that, with the help of underlined ideas, draw the outline of your précis, that what would be the order of your information, and you are supposed to maintain the same sequence of ideas as is given in the original passage. Don't disturb the sequence of information and keep the information in the same order which is followed in the original text. Omission. Omit all the unnecessary information or the long phrases which could be replaced by one word. If there are some unnecessary information, if there are long phrases, you are supposed to omit them and you are supposed to convert them into one word. All the adjectives and the adverbs can also be omitted in order to make a good précis. Sometimes adjectives and adverbs are used in the text, but you are supposed to avoid them for your précis. The specific examples, figures of speech, quotations, similes, metaphors, all such kind of detail is supporting detail. This detail is given just in order to explain the main idea. So you are not supposed to take this type of information for your précis. When selecting the ideas from the passage, ask yourself the following question: if this idea were omitted, would the fundamental meaning of the passage be changed? Most of the time it is very difficult to decide between important and unimportant information when there is the text in front of you. So once you are going to omit the information, considering it as unimportant, just think whether it is going to affect the overall meaning of the paragraph. If it is so, it means that the information is important. However, if you think that it's not going to affect the meaning, then you can omit that information. Don't omit. While making a précis, the writer should never omit the important points and ideas which are essential to be described. Yes, be careful. Don't omit the important points and ideas which are very important to be described in précis. Size. Keep the fact in your mind that the length of the précis should be 1/3 of the original passage. So what should be the length of your précis? It should be 1/3. However, you can take the margin of 5% addition or abstraction. Sometimes it happens that you may write less than 1/3, or sometimes you may exceed 1/3, but for that you are given the liberty of only 5%, not more than 5%, right? Indirect speech. While writing rules, you are supposed to write the précis in indirect speech. If there is direct speech in the message, in the passage, it should be changed into indirect speech. Tense and person. It should be written in the third person. Even if there is first person or second person in the original text, you are going to convert it into third person and past tense. Which tense will you use? Past tense. In the case of universal truth, however, the present tense should be used. So there is only one exception, and what is that exception? The universal truth. For that you can use present tense, otherwise you will use past tense. Next important thing to consider is own words. A précis should be written in your own words, and the writer should abstain from borrowing words from the original passage. So the expression should be your own. You are not supposed to take the words as it is or sentences from the original text. You will take the sentences and words and you will write them into your own words. You will try to give the alternative words. However, sometimes it happens that there are technical terms, there are scientific terms, and you are unable to find out their alternative. That is an exceptional situation. Otherwise, you are supposed to find out the alternative words and you will write down the sentences into your own words. Sometimes people use phrases like I believe, in my opinion, the author wants to say in this paragraph. Such kind of phrases just spoil the impression of your précis, so just avoid them. You are not supposed to write these phrases in your précis. Coherence. Every important idea must be retained, preferably in the order in which it appears in the original. So you are supposed to follow the same order which is there in the original text in order to be more coherent in your writing. Précis of a dialogue. If you are asked to write down the précis of a dialogue, remember that the précis of a dialogue or conversation should always be expressed in form of narrative, and you are supposed to write it in paragraph form. Objective approach. A précis writer should adopt an objective approach, unbiased and neutral approach. It should not add his personal ideas to a précis. You are not allowed to add your appreciation, your criticism, your own point of view in précis. Put all the important points and ideas in a logical order and as it is the way they are in the original text without adding your emotions, feelings and choices, likes and dislikes into the précis. One paragraph. There could be two or more than two paragraphs in the original text. While making the précis, try to write all the ideas in one paragraph. So you are going to write your précis in one paragraph. Rough draft. Practically, it's not possible for you to write down neat draft in one attempt. After omitting all the unnecessary ideas, the writer should prepare a rough draft to finalize it. Compare the draft to the original passage and check that all the essential points have been covered. So now at this point you will see whether all the important points have been given in the précis. If not, then you should consult your original text again and you should add the important points there. Readable. Check the draft for expression, errors, repetition or vague phrases. Now once you are writing the rough draft, you need to be careful whether you have given the same tone which has been given by the writer. Whether there is any error related to spelling issues, punctuation, sentence structure, whether there is any repetition of information, whether there is any unclear or vague phrase, unclear idea. If it is so, be careful. You are supposed to avoid such type of mistakes. Then write a smoother final version. Avoid using contractions and abbreviations as well. Try to capture the tone or feeling of the original, particularly if it is deliberately humorous, ironic or biased. So if the original text is humorous, it means that you are supposed to bring humor in your tone as well. If it is ironic, you are supposed to give the same expression into your writing. Final draft. Now that you have checked all the mistakes in terms of word, spellings, punctuation, sentence structure issue, relevant and irrelevant information, the tone of the writing, now you are all set to write down the neat draft. Having read the rough draft and pointed out some mistakes which may be found in the rough draft, the writer can prepare the final draft. And the last thing which you need to consider is that be careful. Your title should be composed of two components, that is topic plus focus. Topic mean main idea. Focus mean what about main idea, right? For example, if there is any writing related to lecturer, any of the problem related to lecturer, and you give the topic lecturer, it means that that's a very incomplete and awkward topic because we don't know what about lecture. Focus is missing here. We'll be thinking whether it is termination of lecturer, promotion of lecturer, explanation letter to lecturer, what. So there will be a lot of confusion. It means that you need to give focus as well as topic. So at this stage we'll move towards one exercise, and the first exercise is related to giving the title to this paragraph. Let's read this paragraph, and after this you will pause this video and you will give appropriate title to this paragraph. No one is perfect, so one should not take one's mistake too hard. Similarly, it should be realized that we are not the only ones facing hardships in life. Desperation and frustration can be overcome by sharing our worries with a trustworthy friend. However, the best way to combat difficult time is to have faith in God and pray. Hard work along with faith leads to success. Moreover, individual struggle should be taken as part of the larger struggle by general humanity. This would be a great consolation and would make us feel better. So now you are supposed to give title to this paragraph. Let's see some of the unsuitable titles and the reasons why they are unsuitable. First title, to err is human. This is not the main issue highlighted in the passage, so this is wrong title. Second, value of faith and prayer. This is only one of the ingredients to be at peace in life, not the main idea. Right? This is just one piece of information. Challenges in life. It does not touch the main theme of the passage. The above titles are too general and are only sub-points, so they cannot be the title. So let's see what are the suitable titles for this Precis. One suitable title can be Consolation in Desperation, quite appropriate. That is the main idea of the whole paragraph. Inspiration, not frustration, is the key to success. And third one, Consolation in Hard Times. So all these titles are appropriate for this piece of writing. Let's move towards the next exercise, and in this exercise what you will do, just see, look at this text. It is of 66 words, and you will write down the Precis of this text. Let's read the paragraph. Because the ability to communicate effectively plays an important role in an accountant's success on the job, many employers screen prospective accountants for adequate skills in oral and written communication. In fact, one study shows communication skills to be the most important factor in decisions to hire. Employers view the ability to write and speak effectively as even more important than a prospective employee's academic result. So action 1, underline keywords or ideas. Action 2, write down note from the summary. All the important points you will underline, and these are the three important points. Ability to communicate effectively, important to accountant success. Number 2, important factor in decision to hire. Number 3, employers value communication skills even more than academic results. So what you will do, you will take all these important points and you will write them in your own words. So here it goes. We got the Precis, and yes, this thing is already explained. Action 3, use your own words to express these key ideas more concisely and to develop a full sentence paraphrase which conveys the original message accurately and is clear, concise and organized. And here it goes, the Precis. It is of 22 words. Employers recognize the importance of oral and written communication in accounting and therefore prefer to hire graduates with effective communication skills. Okay. Thank you so much for listening to the lecture. See you in the next lecture with some other good topic. Until then, bye.